The Art and Industry of Business and Living podcast, discussing conscious choices around business, money, life and living, and creating a greater future for you and the planet. Welcome everyone, the art and industry of business and living. And I'm here today with my friend Lauren Marie. She happens to live in the same street as me. It's nice and easy.
I just strolling by and Simone was like, hey, come on up.
What? Because what day is it?
It's Monday.
It's Monday. Yeah. And Monday is hashtag Money Monday.
Of course. Why not?
Exactly. Now, what is Money Monday?
So my partner Dylan and I coined this phrase by coming to him and going, guess what today is? Money Monday.
She just did jazz hands if you couldn't see it.
You can't see. And he was like, okay, what's that? Not excited at all. And this was my attempt at getting him excited about doing our finances, which he was not excited about. So I thought, well, if I call it Money Monday, maybe he will get really interested in sitting down and doing our bookkeeping and our finances. So it didn't work.
Maybe if you were naked asking him about Money Monday, it might have worked a little bit better. But the thing is, this has totally taken off. And the funny thing was, I said to Lauren, I was like, that's such a good idea. And I was like, that you're doing that like one day a week, this like Money Monday. And she goes, you do know I got the idea from you, right?
From you. Yeah.
So there was this one time that Brendan, my partner, and I went to Wasabi, great restaurant in Noosa if you ever want to go. Japanese restaurant, absolutely stunning, beautiful. And everyone's on date night. And, I mean, we live together, we travel together, we work together, and we don't really get that much time to sit down and talk about our finances. So we decided to book our favourite restaurant, or one of our favourite restaurants, I should say, Wasabi in Noosa, and took our computers. So we asked for an extra big table so that we could have our computers.
For the computers.
And our food and our blushes. They have great cocktails. So that we could have all of that and we could open our computers up and start to look at where our finances were at. And I think we took a couple of photos and put it on Facebook. So Lauren said, I got the idea from you guys doing that.
I was like, wow, I didn't know you could do that. Like, I mean, not that there's rules, but it just never occurred to me that you could have a date night in a nice restaurant with your laptops and have a creation meeting party, whatever, look at creating your futures and your finances together. It never occurred to me. And I was like, I love that. So I think it was Valentine's Day or something. And I was like, let's go do this. And it's like you said.
So romantic of you, Lauren.
So actually it was, because to me, it's far more romantic to be creating a future for me and my family with him than to just have a great meal and, sex or something. Okay, have that. And, are we handling our taxes? Are we looking at our expenses? Are we looking at how much we want to be bringing in? Are we looking at where the money's going? Are we looking at what we want to add to our life? That's not, quote, romantic maybe, but for me it's creating a different future, and that's far more valuable than just having a good night. So to me it actually is romantic. It's a way of co-creating a future with somebody, and you can do this by yourself, absolutely. But for me and for you, when you have a partner that you're actually building a future with and you want to include them in this, especially one who's not so excited as you, this is a good incentive.
So tell me, I think if I remember correctly,
yes,
you went to one restaurant the first time.
Yes.
And it didn't go down so well.
It didn't go so well. We ended up having a big fight. And we're not the only ones. Since we've started, this has been catching on. Other people have tried this.
So your first time may not be so pretty.
You may have a fight. But it was actually good. A lot of stuff that, was going on came to the surface. And a lot of unhappy, you leave the dishes in the sink and kind of thing, partner fight stuff. And it was like, wow, cool. I didn't know you were grumpy about all these things. Now I know. And he sort of vented on me, and I was like, cool. I wanted to have this time to actually look at what we were creating. Would you like to do that with me or not? And he was like, oh. And it was sort of changed the energy of either we can spend this time griping and venting, or we can move on to look at something else. And he was like, oh, okay. So we sort of started that night, but the next time I took him to a nicer restaurant and he found a really nice bottle of wine that he really loved, and he was sort of more prepared this time, and he brought his laptop, I brought my laptop, and
It wasn't a shock therapy.
it wasn't shock. And we sat down, we looked at, and we asked each other questions about what we like. Do you want to travel next year? Like, do you want more help with the kids? Like whatever we were creating. And we looked at, okay, well, how much would that actually cost? So it wasn't just this nice fluffy thing. Like people say, oh yeah, like when I win $1 million, I'll go, on a trip to Rome and I'll get like a full-time nanny. It's like, okay, well, how much does it cost? Like, what does a full-time nanny cost? What does a trip to Rome cost? Like, what is, and we looked at all that stuff, and we started putting numbers on the pages and actually creating it. And he got really into it. And now he's the one coming down like, hey, it's Money Monday. And I'm like, oh, okay, Monday again.
Well, and a good question even to start with is, what revenue streams do you have coming in? And ask a question. How many more revenue streams could we have that could show up this week or today? And it's not about finding them and stressing out about what you're not creating. It's also about acknowledging what you are creating. And that's what I see so many people do too, is sort of judge what they're not doing rather than look at it and go, you know what, we actually have created a whole bunch.
That's the other thing. When we sat down and looked at our, profit loss statements, we actually created it. We were like, wow, we're making a whole lot more money than we thought we were. So it's not all about looking at, like a budget is such a different energy for me. It's like, oh, oops, I spent too much money on Starbucks or whatever. But that's a totally different thing. It's like, wow, okay, this is what we're spending and this is what we're bringing in. Now, what can we add? Like, and do we want to add more expenses, quote, or more, revenue streams? Yes, both. But it's not about like, oh, we're bad for spending too much or we're bad for not making enough. We were actually like, oh, we're actually doing pretty well and we want more.
Yeah.
Like we're always going to want more.
And guess what, guys? It's not bad to desire more, to ask for more. You're actually allowed to ask for it.
Yeah. And you always will.
Yeah. Well, not everyone does, though. It's like I've seen so many people become complacent with what they've created. I mean, I love the house that we live in Prigian Beach, across the road from the beach. It's gorgeous. You can hear the ocean. You might be able to hear it now. And, what Brendan has done to the house has been beautiful and stunning. And I love living here. And we travel pretty much 9-10 months of the year. But when we come home, it's so nice to be here. And someone said to me, this is your house, like this is what you're choosing to live in. And like with that energy of like for the rest of your life. And I was like, no. Yeah. It's like I might, but that's not what I look at. And we've recently started looking at, okay, what would we really like? And Brendan is amazing at, well, he doesn't actually want to get down there and get his hands dirty anymore, but he's amazing at, he was in the building industry for a long time and knowing how to build things and what we could create, etc. So we've been talking about, buying some land and building something. Yeah. So then you're asking for something greater to show up. And, we were asking, we love living on the beach, and then versus, maybe we get a house on the river or we just get some acreage, So, and I said, you know what, and this is our, hashtag Money Monday. What if we start getting even just a little clear on what it is we're asking for? Because I get the universe is out there and so willing to help us and show us the way and, have these things show up in our life. But universe is going, I'm not really sure what you guys want. So, and not judging ourselves that we're not choosing it. We're playing with the energy of indulging in many different things. And it's like one of the things for me is I like space. I don't mind if my neighbors are close. But if they're right on top of me, it's like, it doesn't really work.
Yeah.
And it's like they could be, but how does the place look? I love water. I'd like to live on the river or on the beach. That makes me happy. So it's like, what makes you happy and what choices can you be making with your financial reality that you may not be able to afford today? But if you start asking for it, then it can show up.
And I think it's so important to, well, A, start asking, B, not judge where you're at. And C, acknowledge everything that shows up, because we, since only the last couple of years, if we look at each time we've moved, because we moved every year since we've been here, but every time we moved, it's gotten us closer to what we wanted. And each place had a little bit more of what we were looking for. And I knew there was always going to be more. Like we moved, we were sort of on the beach, but we had a very small apartment. I was like, I need more, space, and I want more space around us. And we were about to have twins. And so we moved out to, the hinterlands, and we were very far away from everything, but it was beautiful and it had so much space to it. But then I was like, I want to be closer to people that we know. And so we moved back in. But then we were too close, and I was like, I want the beach. And so it's like each time we've moved has had a little bit more of what we were asking for. And now, like you, I love our current house, and we're right by the beach. And I'm not, oh, this is it forever. This is amazing. And what else is possible? How does it get any better?
What else?
Yeah.
What else? What else?
Yeah.
And you asked a great question. What else is possible?
Yeah.
What else is possible, and how does it get any better than that? They're two questions you can literally ask every day. But what if you even set an alarm on your phone every Monday, hashtag Money Monday, and please go ahead and post things on Facebook and hashtag Money Monday, and we'll find you, you'll find us.
Yeah.
And just ask those two questions. What else is possible, and how does it get any better than this? And see if things start to change. Because the thing is, if you're willing to be aware of something, you can change it. If you're not willing to be aware, you cannot change it.
Yeah.
Like I've spoken to so many people, through the history of working with Access Consciousness and doing sessions, etc., that they thought that if they ignored their financial reality, it would change.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't happen like that.
No.
So, and it's not about judging you, what you've done, what you haven't done. It's literally about the awareness of it. So join us on hashtag Money Monday.
Yeah, there's actually a free Facebook group that we've created, and it's really fun. If you just go on Facebook and you put in Money Mondays, you'll find it's a group. You have to request to join, but it's free, and then we'll let you in. There's weekly challenges or inspirational videos and things. Tomorrow we'll actually be doing one from our limo on the way to Rome.
Yes, we are. As
maybe
one
have
does.
some champagne and join us. So you can pop in the group and also ask questions. There's people there posting like the resources that they find, like online calculators for how to, do your finances online, or find real estate, or like just random things that are helpful with these sorts of, financial fun topics.
Awesome. So where do they find it? They just type in Money Mondays.
Money Mondays on Facebook. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lauren Marie.
Yay, thank
and
you.
People can find you on meetlaurenmarie.com.
Yes.
And myself, SimoneMilasas.com, AccessJoyBusiness.com, and AccessConsciousness.com. All right. Thank you for joining us. See you next time on the Art and Industry of Business and Living.